Joining me now is Florida Congressman Carlos Gimenez. He's a member of the House Armed Services, Homeland Security, and China Select Committees. Congressman, I want to get your reaction to Kirby's comments, and also I want to add this, that Tulsi Gabbard, who was with former President Trump yesterday in Arlington, said the Harris-Biden administration has us embroiled in multiple wars around the world and closer to nuclear war now than ever before. We cannot be prosperous unless we are at peace.
No, she's absolutely right, and it's because of the weakness of the Biden-Harris administration. That's the reason why the world is aflame today, and we face other threats too. China is also posing a significant threat to Taiwan. Look, if President Trump wins in November, that intervening, 90 days is going to be a very, very trying time for the United States, because our enemies are going to know that that's the time to strike, while Biden and Harris are still in the White House. And so, yeah, she's absolutely correct. And for Kirby to say that, Biden is totally, connected, I mean, come on. I mean, do you really believe that? I mean, after that debate performance, after you've seen Joe Biden, how crippled he really is, that he's really connected and he's making the decisions, I don't buy that for a second.
Well, then who is it? Lloyd Austin? Is it
it's
Jake
somebody
Sullivan?
inside the White House?
Yeah,
well, somebody.
Jake Sullivan's in China, but who's leading this then? If it's not Biden,
I would think that somebody there's a couple of people inside the White House are really calling the shots, and that's what's happening. And Joe Biden's in California having a pretty good time. I don't think he's connected at all. To be honest with you, I don't think he has the capacity to be connected at all at this time. And then Harris is even worse. I mean, I don't think she's calling the shots either, and I'm glad she's not calling the shots, and maybe some professionals inside the White House are calling the shots, but I doubt that either Biden or Harris are calling the shots right now.
All right, well, let's talk about the border crisis. Americans are living near the border in Texas and Arizona, and they're now talking with Fox Digital on Vice President Harris's record as, well, borders are. Watch what they're telling us.
If they get in there, she won't do anything. It's not going to change. It's going to get worse.
The gates, so there's no gates. Everything's literally open. People just come across, wait to get picked up, and get sent along somewhere in the U.S.
Buy her and get a new one. She's not doing a good job, or she's not putting her time where she needs to be at right now.
It's non-existent. So from a scale of 0 to 10, I would give her a 0.
And I want to add this. In Aurora, Colorado, it's a small town, they're being infiltrated by members of that violent Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, thanks to nearby Denver's sanctuary city status. These gang members reportedly are taking over multiple apartment complexes, and they're driving up crime in that area. Congressman, you are an immigrant. You have followed this story from the beginning, and you were very closely involved in trying to secure the border. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on what we're hearing now?
I mean, look, it's, Kamala Harris says she's going to fix the border if she becomes president. She created the border crisis. This mess is her mess. And so now she's trying to convince us that she's going to fix it, as if somehow the last 3.5 years, they disappeared. It was Trump, and then now after is her. It's ludicrous. And so, look, not only is Tren de Aragua over there in Colorado, it's over here in Miami. A couple of gang members picked up a former Venezuelan police officer, abducted him, and then killed him. So they're here right now in my community too, and so they're all over the place. And so when you're allowing gang members to come into the United States, crime has nowhere to go but up, which is what's happening all around the country. And it's all due to Kamala Harris. It's all due to the Biden and Harris administrations, actually on purpose, policy of allowing tens of millions of people into the United States. We also have a couple of million gotaways. We don't even know who they are and where they are. And yeah, it's a huge problem. That's why Christopher Wray said, we're facing probably one of the most dangerous times in American history now, due to what's happening at the border.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Harris and the Harris campaign in particular know that their weakness is immigration. So we'll see how they're going to attempt to turn that around. I do want to move on to some big news of the day here. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is now admitting that the Biden-Harris administration pressured his company to censor Americans, specifically regarding COVID-19 related content. He also says he regrets censoring content related to the Hunter Biden laptop story, which, remember, government agencies initially labeled as Russian disinformation. He says the company is going to push back now if something like this happens again, Congressman. Your reaction, and we should say that also he is making about a dozen employees available now. This is, from the investigation from Jim Jordan, his committee. What do you want to see happen next year with this story?
I want to see some people prosecuted for violating the Constitution of the United States. The First Amendment says that the government will not be involved in abridging your freedom of speech. And that's exactly what they did. By pressuring Zuckerberg to censor speech, they violated the First Amendment of the Constitution. And so, what's going to happen to those that did that? Probably nothing, because it takes a DOJ to prosecute that, but it's obviously against the law for the government to be involved in trying to censor anything. Yeah, I hope that it all comes out. We knew what was happening 4 years ago. We've known for years that this has been going on, and now Zuckerberg has actually admitted to it. It's not just Facebook. It's all digital media, and probably, media in general. But you know what? The media is in the Democrats' pocket. And so let's see how much of this actually comes out on other news outlets, like MSNBC or CNN, what Zuckerberg is saying right now. I doubt that you're going to see much of it. They're going to try to shield the American public from the truth. We've known the truth for a very, very long time.
Well, look, he told, and this is even back in 2021, Zuckerberg said it was senior officials from the Biden administration and the White House. And he said they repeatedly pressured him and his team for months over this censorship. So we need names.
And that's against the law.
I would like to know the names. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's all come from it comes from the DNC. It comes from the Biden-Harris administration. They've been involved in censorship, for a long, long time, and it's against the law. The government is not supposed to be involved in trying to somehow, subvert your freedom of speech or freedom of thought, and our government has been involved in that for a very, very long time, at least during this Biden-Harris administration, and they're going to continue to do it. And I'm just happy that Zuckerberg finally fessed up to it. But believe me, we knew what was going on. We've known what's been going on for the entirety of this administration, and it's wrong and it's illegal.
Congressman Carlos Jimenez. Congressman, thank you.
It's my pleasure.